Trump has ordered a significant naval buildup around Iran, using carrier strike groups and supporting warships to pressure Tehran while keeping the option of strikes open. What Trump is sending one U.S. carrier strike group, centered on the USS Abraham Lincoln, is already in Middle Eastern waters, bringing roughly 5,000 sailors, fighter jets, helicopters, and escort ships. Trump has confirmed plans to send a second carrier, the USS Gerald R. to join the Lincoln very soon, expanding available air power and giving the U.S. more flexibility for sustained operations against Iran if ordered. Beyond the carriers, officials and Trump himself have talked about an armada, with multiple destroyers, littoral combat ships and other support vessels moving from the South China Sea and Atlantic toward the Gulf region and wider CENTCOM area. Trump's stated goals. Trump says the buildup is just in case, framing it as leverage to force Iran back into nuclear talks and to deter Tehran from executing protesters or ramping up its nuclear program. He has publicly argued that a change of leadership in Iran would be the best thing that could happen, while insisting he would prefer not to use force if diplomacy can deliver constraints on Iran's nuclear and missile activities. At the same time, he has authorized planning for a major air campaign that could target Iran's nuclear and missile infrastructure if he decides talks have failed. How Iran is responding Iran's leadership has warned that any U.S. attack would trigger retaliation against American bases across the region and could drag in U.S. partners from Saudi Arabia and the UAE to Turkey, turning any clash into a regional war. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says its forces are on their highest level of combat readiness, and commanders boast of expanded missile stockpiles after last year's 12-day war with Israel. Iranian officials accuse Washington of exploiting Iran's internal unrest and economic crisis, saying the U.S. naval buildup is meant to fuel instability and intimidate protesters and the regime alike. Why this matters for the region. 2 carrier strike groups in or near the Gulf would give the U.S. intense strike capacity and air cover over key choke points like the Strait of Hormuz, which is critical for global oil shipments. Military planners and analysts say the posture is designed to signal that Trump is serious about blocking a nuclear-armed Iran, but that the deployments also raise the risk of miscalculation, where a minor clash at sea or in Iraq, Syria could spiral quickly.